Good morning, boys and girls. I hope you guys are having a great day. I thought I would go ahead and do a history lesson kind of over the whole week of what you guys have been reading and learning about Mr. George Washington Carver. Now, I know fourth graders, you have a little insight because earlier this year you wrote a report on George Washington Carver. And so you already probably know some of this stuff, so this is just a review for you. But today, let's go and just kind of take an overview of Mr. Carver's life. Well, George Washington Carver was born as a slave in 1861 on a farm in Diamond Grove, Missouri. Now, he and his mother were kidnapped when he was a baby, and they were trying to sell them to another owner with some slave traders that kidnapped them. And so his mother was never found, but his original owners, the Carvers, actually found George Washington Carver and rescued him. And they raised he and his brother James as their own children. And as a child, George Washington Carver loved to play outside, probably like many of you guys do. And he loved to just go outside and be in the woods. That was his favorite place. And he also loved to study plants. He had a notebook that he would draw his plants in, and he would figure out the names of them, and that was his favorite hobby as a child, and he was really good at it because his neighbor actually even called him the plant doctor, because whenever she would have sick plants, he would come and make them better. And so he got the nickname as the plant doctor. But George Washington Carver really wanted to go to school. He just had that he had that longing to go to school, and so he went to a school in Neosho, which was 18 miles away from his home. Now, that would be no problem for us, but he had to walk there and back. And so instead of just making the traveling both there and back every day, he actually lived with a couple there, their names were Mariah and Andy Watkins, and they loved George Washington Carver as their own son. And he would do their laundry and iron for them just to kind of pay his way in his room and board there at their home. And they also taught him something great that he would never forget. They taught him about the Bible, and they encouraged him to read the Bible and how that he could use the Bible in his daily life. And they also gave him his own copy of a Bible. And so he had that. And so after he graduated from the one-room schoolhouse, he attended Simpson College for a little while, and then he also attended Iowa State University, where he graduated there and also got his master's degree there. And there he also became a teacher, and he taught about plants, and he loved his job there, until Booker T. Washington invited him to come to Tuskegee Institute and be the director of agriculture. And we talked about that word agriculture before in science. You know, I'm sure you guys remember, it's talking just about farming and things like that. Well, once he got to Tuskegee, the farmers there in Alabama really needed his help because their soil was just it was hard, and it was not growing well. Their plants were not growing there. They just kept growing cotton year after year after year. And George Washington Carver taught the farmers there that they needed to grow other things other than cotton and to bring the minerals and the nutrients back into the soil. And so he encouraged them to grow things such as sweet potatoes and peanuts. And he also got creative and showed them how they could use sweet potatoes and peanuts for different things. He came up with 118 uses for sweet potatoes, and he came up with 300 uses for peanut butter. Now, my favorite use for peanuts is peanut butter. This is actually my favorite kind of peanut butter. This is the only type of peanut butter that is allowed in my house. So anyway, back to this. So he came up with all these different uses for the sweet potatoes and the peanuts, like he would make shaving cream out of them, butter, and all different kinds of things. And he also really taught the farmers how to make their soil just rich and be able to grow as much as they wanted. Now, we know that George Washington Carver is someone in history that we can learn a lot from. And we know that his kindness and his eagerness to learn is something that we can use in our lives. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this study on George Washington Carver, and I hope you guys are doing well, and I hope to see you soon.